So
Super.
you will be on. Thank you very much, and have a good panel.
Yeah. And happy to welcome our panelists. I hope you can switch on video. Just gonna do a quick intro round. Hi, Alex. Two Alex here, two friends. Great that you could make it, Alexander Höppner. Thanks a lot. It's very late in Hong Kong, 12 at night, midnight. Alexander Höppner, the CEO of BitMEX, the largest, first probably the largest derivatives exchange, if I'm not mistaken, in the crypto space. And I remember very well when you actually left Germany from Börse Stuttgart. That's in your role there. We got to know each other. Colleague here commented that's actually like as if the Pope resigns, yeah, from Germany. So yeah, pleasure to have you here. Then Alex von Frankenberg, also a dear friend. We know each other from school. Actually, we did A-levels together and kept in touch many years. Alex heads the High-Tech Gründerfonds, managing director since I think 15 years or more, even 17 years or so. Is actually the largest European VC. I think you supported like 600 or so startups over the years, very early in also in the crypto DLT space several years ago, and you have several investments there. And I know that you are personally a Bitcoin maximalist, so you are really a very good fit for this this panel. I don't know actually if we have other speakers. Actually, we should be joined by Philipp Sandner, Professor Philipp Sandner from the Frankfurt School of Finance. Maybe they will join soon. And also Khurram Shroff, the CEO of iMining Technologies, friend who actually transferred the large operation of Bitcoin miners from China to the US and Toronto. I hope that they can join. But nonetheless, I mean, if we are just three of us, I think we can still start the discussion here. Bitcoin opportunities and challenges. So to give a brief intro maybe from and frame the topic from my perspective here, I see Bitcoin, first of all, that we have to distinguish the asset Bitcoin from the Bitcoin network on top of which this asset lives. That's maybe one remark to begin with. And regarding the asset, I see the current state. We have price around 41, 42K, down 45% from all-time high, a market cap 800 billion. To put it into perspective, we have gold at I think 10 trillion or something like that. The adoption is rising. Estimate personally maybe between 150 and 300 million owners. Yeah, nobody knows exactly. Maybe you have better numbers. Institutional interest is on the rise. We have even the banks here, the public banking systems, the Sparkasse in Germany providing or starting to provide services and access to the asset. The narrative around digital gold and use of as an inflation hedge actually dominates a bit the discussion, I would say, right now. Then we have companies like MicroStrategy with his famous CEO, Michael Saylor, adopting it in terms of as a reserve asset here for the company to put it on the balance sheet of the company. And obviously we also have El Salvador as a country, as the first country adopting Bitcoin as a legal tender. Which means that you can pay your coffee with it. And Alex, I know you experienced that live because you've been there. And we also, so with that come the first use cases for Bitcoin as a payment means, with the Strike app working on the Lightning network on top of the Bitcoin network, enabling those microtransactions. On the downside, I see critical voices around the topic of decentralization, which is still quite weak if we take a global perspective, meaning that we have about, I read a figure like 80% of the supply is in the hands of only 2% of the wallets. So this is far from being, let's say, inclusive and let's say a global, globally accessible asset. Then we have certainly the energy consumption debate, which is still ongoing. There are pros and cons. Maybe we can touch on that as well. Then we have, I think, a topic that is not so much talked about is the rather technocratic governance, which applies maybe to more than just Bitcoin. It goes far beyond the Bitcoin and addressing also a topic here in the global or in the overall crypto space. Then I would say price manipulation is a topic around Tether, Binance. There's a risk, an operational risk there. Maybe Alex, you could touch on that topic. And potentially also regulatory moves to outlaw Bitcoin, like it happened in the past with gold. So that's a bit to frame a bit this discussion, and I would just, happy to maybe Alexander Höppner. It's difficult here with Alex. Alexander Höppner. Maybe you can give us a brief background on you, what your company does. I know you're about to acquire a Bankhaus Heid here in Germany. And what does that mean? I think you're definitely bullish on the whole perspectives here. And yeah, take it away. Yeah, Alexander.
Yeah, Oli, thank you very much. Yeah, unfortunately, we are not anymore the largest. BitMEX was the largest crypto derivatives exchange. Yeah, we're going to get back to the top. So that's why we have the aggressive expansion plan and the beyond derivative strategy. Before that, as you said, I was with Börse Stuttgart and was very happy and lucky to work in Germany and paving the ground a little bit. At least that's what I think I put on my CV, paving a little bit the ground in Germany. And here in Asia, you can really see after 10 or 15 minutes having a discussion about whatever, pick and choose topic, whether this is arts, whether this can be automobiles, this can be anything. It directly comes to tokenization of assets. Everybody is talking about this topic. And I think that is the most dominating factor right now. We're really on the brink to really mass market adoption. And that means I haven't spoken to any bank that has not already a team working on the topic. I'm talking to huge pension funds. I mean, super conservative, and they have teams on DLT, on crypto assets. So everybody is thinking about this, and this is correct. And you see all the governments are also working on that one. Well, okay, they have different perspectives on that one. Some are more protective about their monetary side. Others are more progressive. It also depends on all the factors, as you said, on the status of the economy and of the country. I think we are expecting a bit too much. People are complaining about inclusiveness. People are complaining about technocracy. People are complaining about environmental situation. But I mean, the industry and the technology is very, very, very young. Imagine, when was the automobile designed? 10 years later, was that all safe and sound and environmental healthy? No. When was the banking system invented or stock exchanges invented? Was that inclusive? No. Is environmental situation perfect? No, it is still young. The industry is young. The technology is young. The substitute, so the industry that's going to be substituted by the whole blockchain universe is still there. I mean, the balance, the total balance of energy can only be then in balance when the substitute is gone. So we will see a time where there's still these unbalances, but we as an industry have to work much stronger in the direction and much faster in the direction to overcome these hurdles, to be inclusive and not fall into the same habits as we've been falling with the classical financial industry over the last 20 years, which is essentially not an inclusive industry. It is not a global financial fungible market. It is regional markets dominated by monopolies, and that's what we're going to break up. And we have to tackle also the technocratic and the inventable stuff. But I mean, we're expecting a lot for something which is like 12 years old and has such a huge factor already globally.
Yeah, great.
Alex, you need to tell us about your acquisition of the bank, because everybody has been reading this in Germany, and a rising, even bigger star in the German crypto scene, because you did that a little bit.
Okay, if I may, I think to offer crypto really on a, let's say, European basis, but also on the global basis, you need to live and work and convince and educate all market participants on the possibilities of the technology. Ultimately, regulators don't regulate technology, they regulate function. So even if they say, hey, you can use the new blockchain technology, or you can use this technology or that technology, as soon as you fulfill a certain function, you have to live up to the rules. We should educate all of us on the possibilities. So we should not be so blind to just follow the existing rules. We should adopt the rules to get the best benefits for all market participants out of these rules, but rules are there. And so if we want to offer really crypto assets on a European scale, we need to be able to provide a safe and sound fiat on-ramp. We need to store the assets. We need to issue the assets. We need to list the assets on fungible markets. And we need to have a safe storage of the assets. And irrespective of whether the asset is afterwards a utility or it's a collectible, or whether it's a security or a financial product. And to complement that, you need ultimately a banking license. And who else is better suited than a bank, which is already very, very strongly pushing in that direction? And from my point of view, that's an ideal complementary aspect to BitMEX, who is extremely innovative, building the perp, which is still one of the most traded crypto assets globally on all the other exchanges, so the perpetual swap. And now combining that, expanding our business to spot and brokerage, and with a bank, custody, fiat, proper lending books. And don't forget one aspect that I think most of the crypto companies are struggling with, which is a long shot right now. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's not like that we can provide that tomorrow, but we're all struggling with our bank accounts. It is not easy for crypto players to have a proper bank account that supports my business, not actually does lending for me or does crypto acquisitions for me, but really just cares for me as a company and supports my growth. And let's say we love crypto, so there's probably much more to come.
Well, I can throw in two of our portfolio companies. First of all, Bitwala, Nuri, bank account and wallet integrated. And then, of course, Tangany, in Munich, custody, and they're doing a really, really great job on the custody side. And you will hear from them good news in the next few weeks. And they're growing nicely. And you know, if you need a partner in Germany, they have a BaFin license, Tangany, which in itself is very valuable. So yeah, nice. Yeah, great. I mean, yeah.
I mean, you see it. Is it really more and more countries are really opening up and trying to steer and drive the whole crypto and blockchain economy. And Germany is one of them. Switzerland is another one. Singapore is another one. And you came
tomorrow. I'm going through the final stages of KYC at Signum, the Swiss bank. And the first thing I will do is I will buy a Picasso token, because I want to have I cannot buy a whole Picasso for myself, unfortunately. I will have a small Picasso.
Yeah, I should actually do that as well, because I'm also active in that art field and the asset tokenization field. But bringing the discussion a little bit back to the, let's say, the I would say, the grandfather maybe of the whole crypto currencies or the whole crypto field, which is Bitcoin. I mean, this brought, like, I think 13 years ago or so, the whole move here into this exciting field. They started it with this unique digital bearer token that enables basically the transfer of value over the internet. Yeah. And Bitcoin itself is still number one in terms of market cap. However, the use case for me seems a bit, it's limited. It found, let's say, a use case, which is this digital gold narrative. Yes, there are applications. Alex, you have been in El Salvador, where they actually use it in the Lightning, and tell us about that. I'm still struggling actually with the concept of using it as a day-to-day means of transaction. But sure.
So I mean, I think the first use case out of many use cases Bitcoin will have is store value. And I give you an example. In the 80s, I was when I was a small boy, I was delivering newspapers, and I got 10 marks. I made 10 marks per hour, and with those 10 marks, I could buy 33 ice cubes. An ice cube, ice cone, cost 30 pennies in the mid 80s in Germany. So today, you deliver a newspaper, you get 10 euros. And you can buy 8 ice cubes. So 1 hour of my life back then, the newspaper boy bought 33 ice cubes, and today it buys 8 ice cubes. And if I had taken those 10 marks, put it in a drawer, and pull out the 10 marks today, which is 5 euros, I can buy 4 ice cubes, and that's inflation. And inflation is devaluing the money and also removing earning potential from the lower end of the society, so you can buy less. And the use case for store of value is not gold, digital gold. It's everything, all assets that are being used for store of value, which is property, which is stocks, which is of course bonds. And Michael Saylor clearly says, and I totally agree, that the potential for store value is 100 trillion. So it's not the 10 trillion of gold, it's more than gold. It's 100 trillion, or maybe even more. So 20 million Bitcoin, because some is lost. 100 trillion over 20 million Bitcoin is 5 million. That's the potential from a VC perspective, huge potential, and a very, very large use case. And then on top of that, at some stage, you can use it for payments, which is already used in the remittance case in those countries like El Salvador and other countries. It makes sense to use it with no or very bad banking infrastructure, which is like 6 billion people on Earth who are not or very poorly connected to financial infrastructure, which is a lot. It's hard for us to see because in Europe we are well connected. And it's also a good use case. For example, in El Salvador, I was loading up my local SIM card through Lightning. So I could have, if I have no money, sent this Lightning invoice to my rich relatives in the US, and they could have paid it. So it's a very, very good use case for I guess paying bills.
But
so
still,
and that's on top of store value, and then there's payment, and then there's maybe identity that's being stored on the Bitcoin blockchain. And I think it's just humongous. It's very big.
Yeah, I would concur. Still, you have the volatility aspect. So actually, we are using currency for stuff that I need. When I want to buy a car, a house, or whatever, I can buy less than 3 months ago at all-time high because everything is denominated in euro or dollars somewhere. So that's still a challenge, but I would see over time with growing adoption that this levels out the volatility. I can see that still we have those issues around decentralization and stuff. But I would welcome now Khurram Shroff, a friend of mine, to our circle. Great that you could make it. I think we had a bit issues here with the timing. And Khurram is actually, we know each other from a crypto finance conference, I think several years ago. We met there, and you moved actually from the UAE to Toronto, to Canada. You became the president of iMining Technologies, and in that role, in this capacity, moved a large mining network from China to the US and Canada, if I'm not mistaken. So tell us a little bit about you and what you are doing with iMining. Where do you see the biggest challenges, maybe opportunities and challenges of Bitcoin? I gave a few, let's say, a quick intro there, but maybe we can hear from you.
No, thank you so much, Oliver. First of all, it's I've been on the call for some time, so I was really listening and to our other insightful panelists. And you know what, I concur with them. One of our apart from mining Bitcoin, the other aspect of it in terms of exchanging Bitcoin is how we're going to be able to get adoption. And banking is definitely an opportunity. And also, as we are also onboarding with a bunch of financial institutions globally, because one of the things was we started mining operation, right? We used to run a pretty sizable mining operation in China. China shut down, and now Kazakhstan has issues with riots, and other countries have issues. So political stability of mining Bitcoin is key. And I was talking to our friends at Blockstream, and it is very important that the infrastructure is in a politically stable economy, right? And as you can see over the last year, a majority or almost majority of all Bitcoin mining is currently being done in North America. On top of it, what has happened is regulations and regulatory framework. So within the last year, thanks to our friends at MicroStrategy and different people in the public market realm, now public companies in North America own about 9% of Bitcoin, and of course other cryptocurrencies. One of the largest traders are in largest liquidity providers in North America. And what that has done is it has forced all the professionals in the accounting field and legal field to really learn about Bitcoin and blockchain, because it is now a public company asset. And that was one of the reasons, as most people know, that Bitcoin or crypto guys usually stay under the radar for various reasons and regulatory issues in different countries. But I thought it is very important for us to lead with the regulators, right? So I took the helm as CEO of iMining. It's a very small company, and changed the focus into sort of three aspects which I think are very important. One is, of course, mining of different cryptocurrencies. Second is we really are pioneers in Ethereum 2.0 staking, and we've implemented a different staking on different blockchain protocols. And also entered the metaverse. We'll be one of the first few public companies to have headquarters in the metaverse. And we're helping, just to give you an example, we'll be helping a pharmacy and a health clinic in Canada who wants to set up an online presence and also be there in the metaverse. So now you can come into the metaverse and order medicine, and it gets delivered to your home in less than 30 minutes, of course, depending on the area that we are servicing. And the third business is exchange. So I don't know if you know that Binance tried to enter Canada, and right now Binance has been stopped all trading for Canadian or Ontario investors in crypto. And the regulators in Canada have come down very strongly and are asking all the exchanges to fully get licensed with the regulators as security dealers, right? And it is very interesting because Canadian regulators are considered very important regulators among the regulator aspect of this stuff. And 2 cryptocurrencies are banned, according to our lead on our exchange site has informed me, which is USDT and Ripple. So these are the 3 segments of business, and one of the most important thing is global transmission, as our friend Alex was saying. And you know, we are working with people like coins.ph in Philippines because Canada and move money. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just because we have like 3-4 minutes left. It's a topic.
Sorry to hoard that.
Really, no, but it's fine, guys. We have to do a longer panel at some other
100%.
place. But in a better time for Alex Höppner. So if I might just quickly summarize what we heard so far. I mean, it's great optimism. So Bitcoin as, let's say, the initiator of a huge wave of innovation, I would say. And still a very positive, or not still, but a very positive, let's say, outlook here from our panelists, despite all the challenges that are there with the young technology. I still would personally think that these weaknesses here in the decentralization aspects and so they need to be tackled. I personally see a huge perspective in other cryptos, in so-called productive assets. Yeah, the question for me is, for instance, will Bitcoin take this leap into a platform for or into a productive asset use case, similar to the strike lightning topic here? That's a question for me for the future. I would be interested in your view here versus Ethereum and other cryptos which are more geared to that, those smart contract platforms. What's your take on that, maybe Alex? And how do you think Bitcoin will develop? Will that, let's say, gain traction in such an area, or will it narrow down on a very specific?
We will see huge adoption, 3 more countries this year, many more companies. And my price target, very easy, infinity, because fiat in a very long run goes to 0. So whoosh, that's it.
Don't spend it. Don't spend it. That's it. That's what I told you. Alex Höppner, maybe.